After a career of serving and protecting Saskatoon, retired police officer Patrick Barbar has big plans, and it involves a lot of kilometers. Patrick is about to set off on a trip riding his motorcycle around the world. That's right. He's still in the planning and prep stage, and he joins us live to talk about that massive dream come true undertaking. Good afternoon, Patrick.
Hey, Peter. How's it going?
I got to wonder, how much of your police career did you spend on a motorcycle?
About 4 or 5 years. So, yeah, it wasn't the majority, but it was some of the best years, I have to say.
Why was it some of the best years?
Because you're riding a motorcycle. I think it's pretty self-explanatory, Peter.
Have you always been, did you grow up on a bike?
No, I started about 20 years ago, and I actually started with the intent of riding the police motorcycles, so I had to get my license.
Okay, and so how did this idea come about to spend so much time in retirement on a motorcycle?
Well, I've always enjoyed traveling. I'm a wanderer. I've done some smaller versions of this sort of trip. I've been to Mexico probably 8 or 9 times on the motorbike. Back about 12 years ago, I took a leave of absence, 6 months, shipped a motorbike to Europe, rode around there for 6 months. And, the more you undertake these adventures and you always think, oh, this is going to be the ultimate. And then you realize, no, there's more to it. So this is the ultimate, I would think.
Well, Patrick, let's take a step back first. What inspired you at first to go as far as shipping your motorcycle to Europe and doing a ride there?
Just a desire to see the world, to get to know all these different cultures. Riding a motorbike is, in my opinion, it's the best way to meet people. Every time you stop somewhere, you've got this luggage on the bike. You're sort of vulnerable. You're open to the elements, and people always come out of the woodworks, no matter what country you're in. They want to talk to you. They're curious about what you're doing. There's something about a motorbike that really appeals to people.
All right. Well, those trips weren't enough, clearly. What is your route plan so far?
Well, so I heard you mention it earlier on. So I am heading down to South America as of mid-June here. So, through the U.S., Mexico, Central America, South America, pretty much till I see penguins in Argentina. And after that, I'll take time to gather my thoughts for a month or two, and then head over to Europe, the Middle East, Asia. I want to do Africa from top to bottom, so there's lots of planet out there.
There sure is, and I wonder, it's coming up pretty quick. How do you even begin to plan such a massive trip?
The beauty of a trip of this scale is that you really can't. You can only leave with sort of a vague idea, vague notion of a route in your mind, and then you just sort of got to let the wind blow you around, because it's just too much to plan ahead. So, you got to have the bike, obviously, bring, clothing, whatever. I'm going to vlog the whole thing on YouTube, so I got to bring my equipment, my editing equipment, my cameras, and so forth. But other than that, in terms of individual destinations, you just sort of go with the flow.
Do you have any pit stops? Any things that you really, really want to make sure that you go and see?
Oh, there's a few, yeah. Typically, I'm not really one for the big landmarks, but like going through Peru, I have to go to Machu Picchu, obviously, and things of that nature, just monumental things that I wouldn't forgive myself if I didn't stop, because I'll probably never be out there again. But I love the small villages, and where I'm pretty much the only tourist. I love being the novelty in a place, and I think that's the best way to experience culture.
Patrick, you got to travel light on a bike. What are some of the essentials you have to bring?
Well, obviously clothing. So you bring about a week's to 10 days worth of clothing. There's laundromats everywhere on the planet. My cameras, I've got the GoPro on the helmet. I've got the drone. I've got a 360 cam. I want to put out a pretty good product on my YouTube channel for people who choose to come along with me. And other than that, your passport and your sense of adventure. That's pretty much all you need. Now,
is there anything you don't need but you're going to bring anyway?
I'm experienced enough that I've gotten that out of my system.
Okay.
The first few trips, there's way too much. The trip from Europe, I actually sent a large box home a month in of stuff I just did not need. So you learn with time what goes and what doesn't.
Well, you're obviously excited, Patrick, but anything have you nervous about this trip?
Just because I think I'm giving into the hype a little bit. For some reason, the U.S. border crossing has gotten me a little rattled, but I do think it's mainly hype. But we'll see.
What about conditions? I've watched the Long Way Around and Long Way Down documentaries with my dad, and they had a lot of tough terrain.
Yeah, and there will be some of that. I've watched those too, and I think they were intentionally choosing some of the off-road terrain,
Sure.
So you can take in as much of that as you want. I'm not really an off-road rider. I'll do some gravel roads and such, but nothing too crazy. But those were a great series. Watching those changed my life, actually.
So you said you're leaving mid-June. Do you have an exact date?
Yeah, June 11th is when I'm going to hit the road. I'm going to have a small gathering of some of my friends and do a big launch. And again, it's gonna be used as footage for the vlogs. And
And what's your YouTube page, Patrick?
Oh, it's Adventures Without Borders, and that's also across different platforms: Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. So yeah, people can join me and take it in from my vantage point.
You can have a SIM card. We'd love to connect with you on the road.
Absolutely, yeah. I'll be connected the whole way down, which is the beauty of travel in this day and age.
Yeah. Well, Patrick, very safe travels, and thank you so much for doing this.
Thanks, Peter. You take care.
Patrick Barbar is a retired police officer in Saskatoon who, as you heard, is going to embark on a motorbike trip around the world. Good for him. Live your dreams.